Hi, everyone. I'm Ryan Fowler. So, you built a business, you've led teams, you've made millions of dollars, and yet there's still this quiet part of you that feels like a fraud. You hit new milestones, but instead of feeling proud, there's this little voice in you whispering, you just got lucky. And if that resonates even a little with you, then yeah, you're dealing with imposter syndrome. Maybe it's mild, maybe it's severe, but it's there. So keep watching because I'm going to show you what imposter syndrome actually is, why it sticks around even after years of success, and what it really takes to reduce it or even eliminate it completely. And so, what is it? What's at the root? Well, it's basically a persistent fear that your success is undeserved. You somehow tricked everyone. One day you'll be exposed as not being as good as they think. It's extremely common. Korn Ferry did a survey. 71% of CEOs struggle with imposter syndrome. And there's other surveys peg it at about 70%. So many of these people look confident, charismatic, they look in control, but on the inside, they're bracing for exposure. Here's a clip of Alex Hormozy. If you don't know him, he went from 0 to 100 million net worth in about 7 years. And here he's talking about the three core traits of top performers. The second one is what's called a core belief. The first two actually are core identity. And this is actually the root cause of imposter syndrome. So watch his emotional reaction when he mentions his second thing. You can literally see the moment he triggers himself. It affects him. You'll see it. Just watch. This is really interesting.
Ultra successful people have three common traits. Number one is they have a superiority complex. They think they're better than everybody. They think they can do bigger things. Second is that they have crippling insecurity of not being enough. I like that one, hits me. And then the third one is impulse control.
Now, what I think's interesting about what Alex said is I worked with a very successful gentleman too, Rick Sapio. He's actually the founder of MIT's annual Gathering of Titans event. And he's a very successful CEO in his own right. I cured his imposter syndrome in 2 sessions. You'll see a clip of that later. But Rick's interesting because he intensely studied the mindset of billionaires. In fact, Rick interviewed over 40 billionaires, deep interviews, including Warren Buffett and Richard Branson. I had a very interesting conversation about what he learned from these interviews. He said a lot of billionaires actually don't work that hard. And he said a lot of billionaires don't exhibit signs of imposter syndrome. The 7-figure, 8-figure, many 9-figure ultra achievers, C-level executives, entrepreneurs, many of them do, but many billionaires don't. Why is that? Well, it's a paradox. It's paradoxical because it drives you to a certain level of success, but then at some point it can cause substantial problems. It can cause ruminating, overworking, not delegating certain tasks to others, perfectionism, indecision, a lot of anxiety, and at some point it can spike with anxiety, especially before big presentations of the board, etc. And at some point that can actually act as a drag on performance, as well as an invisible ceiling to achieving greater heights. And that's why many billionaires don't have it. People trying to become billionaires often do, and they don't get there. This is a major reason why. And so let's look at the symptoms of imposter syndrome, how it shows up in entrepreneurs, and then we'll cover executives. So if you're an entrepreneur, imposter syndrome often looks like just working relentlessly to prove your worth. It looks like feeling guilty if you're not grinding hard enough. It looks like you're undervaluing your offer or hesitating to raise prices because you feel you haven't earned it yet. Entrepreneurs with imposter syndrome, they can achieve something big and immediately move the goalpost. And even worse, not even give themselves a credit for what they just achieved. I heard Layla Hormozy saying once, success doesn't feel that good to her. It's like, why? Why doesn't it feel good to you? Oh, it's because of imposter syndrome, feeling you don't deserve it. That's imposter syndrome. You might call that ambition. It's not. It's fear-driven productivity masquerading as ambition. So how does it show up in executives? A little different, same underlying core cause. For executives, it's constant internal self-criticism, even right after praise. So internal chatter in your head, they call that hypervigilant self-monitoring. A lot of CEOs struggle with that. Rick Sapio, I'll show you. I cured that for him. I'll show you a quick clip at the end where he mentions that. You're not delegating because no one else can do it right. You don't trust others. You're turning down interviews public visibility panels because deep down being seen feels risky to you. You may have mastered the outer game of success, but your inner game is still running and it's saying, don't mess up. If you do, they finally see you're not enough. So, perfectionistic, over preparing, overworking so you don't fail because you're terrified of what they'll see if they fail. Or even worse, you feel others already suspect you're a fraud. So let's watch a couple quick clips of two of my clients, and they describe about their struggles with imposter syndrome.
I had anxiety, not knowing I had anxiety, but I just never felt confident and always thought that even though someone was talking, they were talking about me. Start worrying, well, I got to do a better job because they're talking about me, and I got nervous.
It's not knowing the outcome and facing a risk of some sort of failure, large or small. Fear and anxiety that holds me back from taking action many times. It just seems like it's so much harder to get started than it ought to be.
I've been the type of guy, if you recall in the session, that I think I deserve money and I deserve success only if I work my ass off.
Only if you work very hard, what you do.
Right.
So imposter syndrome actually helps early on or even at the midpoint, but it gets worse over time. Early in your career, imposter syndrome, it fuels performance. You prep harder, you work longer, you push more, but eventually it becomes a ceiling. It turns into anxiety, burnout, decision paralysis, a total inability to feel genuine fulfillment. It's like being forced to run on a treadmill that keeps speeding up every time you make progress. You can't win, you just need to keep running faster. Imposter syndrome actually has nothing to do with your achievements. It comes from subconscious false core beliefs formed in childhood. These core beliefs look like, for example, I'm not good enough, or I have to learn through achievement, or if I fail, I'm worthless. These get stored in emotional memory networks embedded in our nervous system. It's not just in our mind, although there are core narratives there too. So when you're in a high stress situation, board meeting, investor pressure, big sales pitch, these old networks fire up. You get triggered. You're not reacting to the present. You're reacting to the emotional memory that gets triggered in the present, but that memory is from the past. And most conventional approaches, journaling, cognitive behavioral therapy, mindset coaching, affirmations, they can help manage these symptoms, but they don't erase, or they rarely erase, the emotional learning underneath these core subconscious beliefs. You can logically understand you're successful. You can tell yourself you have achievements, you're competent, and practice gratitude, all that. But the feeling that you're a fraud, it stays rooted because the emotional coding was never rewritten with these methods. And that's why so many high performers say, I get it, I shouldn't feel this way, and yet I do. So what do I do differently? Well, let's talk about what actually works. My approach rewires imposter syndrome out of you. It rewires these false core identity level subconscious beliefs. And I use 3 protocols that work together, kind of a whole is greater than the sum of the parts arrangement. So I'm going to say some fancy words. I'll put them on the screen if you want to go to ChatGPT and look it up and find out about the science. But these are the neuroscience terms. So the first is predictive error mismatch, memory reconsolidation. This is a protocol we bring to the surface, you emotionally connect to, and then we literally rewrite these false core beliefs at the neural level. Another neuroscience term is called polyvagal informed emotional memory reconsolidation. This clears the trauma, the negative emotions, the emotional memories, the charge in your nervous system that's embedded there. So we're working on the narrative, the subconscious beliefs, and the emotional memory and trauma tied to it in your nervous system. We put those both in a hypnosis wrapper. We do this while you're under hypnosis. It's about 40% of the session. We do some talking and analysis before that. Hypnosis works. The evidence is there, and it works really well when it's paired with these other 2 techniques. It deepens the neuroplasticity window. And what that means is when we get old beliefs out and old emotions out, we put new ones in, the rewiring sticks. It works far more quickly and deeply and fully when you combine them 3 to greatly reduce or completely get rid of imposter syndrome and the other insecurities holding you back. And we get real world results. What does this look like in practice? Well, most of my clients, these entrepreneurs, executives, high-end sales leaders, they experience a 60 to 100% reduction in imposter syndrome feelings in just 2 deep sessions. Now, everyone's different. Some people, 1 session and boom, massive transformation. Some people need 3 sessions. Some people, a small percentage, need 5. Most 2 does it. There are a small percentage who aren't a fit, maybe 5 to 8%. We always do an initial screening call where we answer your questions and find out what's in your core to get you a little more clarity, see how this applies to you directly. I also offer a short test session with a money back guarantee. So if you want to test it out and make sure you feel real benefit, you do that. If it doesn't work, you get your money back, 0 risk, no problem. So for the people I can help, which is most, the results are consistent: higher confidence, better strategic decision making, less emotional pressure, a sense of inner peace they've literally never felt before. I've had people tell me this is a new feeling for me. That's really great. And I'm going to show you some real life examples now. Now I have dozens of video interviews, some audio, dozens of testimonials as well written down. Go to Trustpilot, RyanFowlerSOS.com. Read those. They're all 5 stars. Some really good stories there. I'm going to show you some quick video clips of real life clients, the transformation they had, just real quick.
Prior to the session, there was more chatter in my brain. After the session, it was just more calm and clarity. I didn't have the buzz, the typical buzzing that people have and the voice. I don't have any voice in my head anymore. I think that's a gift that you give people, and that's a gift you gave me. So it's even hard to think about how best to answer the question, because when you don't have that mental chatter, it really is a relief. But since that session, I have not really worked that hard, and I've made more money. So put your ego aside.
Yeah.
Surrender to the process that Ryan offers, and on the other side of it, you'll be a better human being. Don't you want that?
The next day, I could tell that there was this very subtle but powerful shift. I found myself able to move very quickly through medium difficulty work tasks that I probably would have easily procrastinated. And that was kind of shocking, because that's a big change for me.
Give it a chance. Come without any preconceived notions, and the impact is dramatic. It's just something else.
What you've done in 1 session, it took me more than 50 years to try and erase it. So you've done it in 1 session. You've liberated. I was slamming the accelerator. I was flooring the accelerator, slamming the brakes at the same time. Bottom line is I was stuck. And then you came and unstuck me magnificently.
Perfect, like totally different person. This hypnotherapy, 1 session with Ryan, I'm a totally different person.
Really great stuff. Now, if you're still watching, I have some resources for you for no charge. If you want, I have a 6-minute pre-performance exercise that stops imposter spikes before big moments, before presentations, board meetings, investor pitches. This can help you out, no charge. You just email me directly, Ryan@RyanFowlerSOS.com. Ask for the 6-minute and reduce imposter syndrome, boost confidence exercise. I'll send it to you free. If you're ready to permanently resolve your imposter syndrome and other insecurities that you know are holding you back in your leadership position, not just cope with it, but fix it completely or greatly reduce it, you can go to my website, RyanFowlerSOS.com, or just email me, Ryan, RYAN, @RyanFowlerSOS.com, and ask for a free 30-minute consultation. We'll talk one-on-one. It may go a little over a half an hour. We'll map the exact false core beliefs driving your imposter syndrome, your other insecurities that make you struggle, procrastinate, etc. We'll confirm you're fit for the program, and if you want to move forward, we'll talk new steps. If not, no big deal. So you don't need another surface level mindset trick. You need a system that transforms your subconscious identity permanently. You've already proven your value to the world. Now it's time that you feel it for yourself. Thank you.